UFOs are being disclosed all around us. Are you paying attention? It's hard not to when this topic, this subject is getting such attention right now from the media. I mean, sure, there's YouTubers and others, organizations, MUFON, that have been talking about this for decades. Art Bell, George Norrie, L.A. Marzulli, Tom Horn, Steve Quayle, Timothy Alberino. You could go on and on. Derek Gilbert and Sharon Gilbert. It goes on and on. There are organizations and people that have been crying out that these things are happening, and we might disagree as to the source, what the agenda is here, but now it's being disclosed. I mean, we're here. Disclosure. People have been waiting for decades for disclosure. It's here. It's been disclosed. It's happening. They're not saying it's quote-unquote aliens. Well, we can't assume anything, but we can't assume it is. First of all, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UFO, or USO, unidentified flying object, unidentified submersible object. It's in the title, unidentified. That's all it means. We shouldn't necessarily assume that means alien or interdimensional. It could be something that we've created. It could be our own government tech. That could account for some of it, certainly. But then that's even twofold, because either we've created this technology ourselves, or an adversary of ours, a foreign power, has created some kind of technology that's beyond our capabilities. But tracing back the timeline of sightings, I mean, they've gone throughout history, first of all, but the modern age, it really picked up with Roswell, obviously being the first big event, and snowballed from there. But if you're going to say it's our tech, that means we had this advanced technology back in the 40s. Harder to believe that. It's easier to believe now that maybe we have something that could do some of these things, or that we've reverse engineered something, but even then, that means we had to have found something that we didn't know, we couldn't do, and then reverse engineer that, as Bob Lazar has stated in the documentary that came out on Netflix. He's talked about that. Either way, I think the source of this stuff is not human. Now, what we're seeing now, yeah, it could be part of a larger program of reverse engineering, and then testing these things out under the cover of night, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. But it still has to be traced back from something. I don't think we could say all the UFOs in history was all our tech. I mean, the 40s, did we really have technology that advanced? We were still trying to figure out how to get to the moon, and that's that's debatable. That's another rabbit hole of the moon landing, and what we saw up there, if we went there, a whole other story. But now that the UFO phenomenon has become mainstream media, because it's now been on 60 Minutes. We had the 60-minute show just a couple days ago with Lou Elizondo coming out and talking about certain things on 60 Minutes. We have Tucker Carlson. It seems like once every few weeks he's got some kind of official Navy pilot or someone that's disclosing something. We have the New Yorker that wrote an article just a few days ago about the increase in UFO sightings, and the Pentagon releasing this stuff. We have CNN that wrote an article about Obama. Obama just came out and said, what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. So there you've got Obama, another official acknowledgement by one of the former arms of the government that UFOs are real. And this is after decades and decades of denial. That's the thing. Why it's coming out now? Well, that's a whole nother story. I think there's multiple reasons why, and we're going to be discussing this on Sunday night, my live show, Enter the Unfamiliar, Sunday night, 6 o'clock. We're going to be talking about this disclosure, getting into it, digging into it a little more. I'm going to have Flipped Out, my co-host, on, but also Drew, Supreme Heretic. He's going to be on as well, and we're going to be digging through this disclosure as why they're doing it now, what the possible outcomes are. Is there an agenda to this? We're going to be talking more about that on Sunday night, so stay tuned for that. As of right now, I'll just say that I think it's hard for them to keep denying this as more footage, more sightings are coming out. More people with cell phone cameras are capturing this stuff in the sky, and they can't keep denying it. The world is already on a thread right now. Governments are facing problems with the people trusting them with certain things. Last year showed the division in this country. So I think to try to deny something that's becoming more and more obviously true, it's hard for them. They're going to keep losing public opinion and trust if they keep trying to deny this stuff. And also, I think that there are people within the government that want to find out what's going on. They genuinely want to know what's going on, and they're in the dark about this. And they're worried, is it a foreign power? Is there something that we can't exactly... Is it something that threatens our defense? Our safety of the country? So I think they're pushing towards that. They want to find out. They want to know. And then there's others that probably do know and are trying to keep it, covered up, but it's becoming harder and harder, obviously. I mean, you've had people for years talk about this. Obviously, Bob Lazar has come out and talked about this stuff, Stephen Greer, but then even within the government, Senator Harry Reid has been talking about this for the last few years, trying to get attention to it. Recently, Marco Rubio, Nick Pope was, in charge of defense in Britain, and he's been talking about this for a long time. Paul Hillier of the Canadian he was also in charge of defense, and he's been talking about this for quite a while as well. So you have officials that have been talking about this, but now it's becoming mainstream media. Now they're getting the public used to it or on board with it, or leaking things out that they can't deny any longer. So very interesting that now mainstream media is coming out with this. I believe that is disclosure. It is being disclosed. They're not saying it's alien, or anything like that, interdimensional, but that's the common association to UFOs. People think alien, and I'm not saying it's not. I think the source of it is, in fact, otherworldly. I think it's interdimensional, which is technically alien because it's not of this planet. But they're not saying that. They're just saying it's unidentified, so we just have to go with that right now. It's just unidentified. We don't know the source of it. It's doing things we can't explain. But that's where we're at. So just them acknowledging that, it is disclosure. We're here. We've opened the door to disclosure, and now we're kind of just, flipping on the lamps and illuminating certain aspects of it. And we'll see if the big light goes on and we see it all. I think we're probably headed that way, but we'll see. So again, tune in Sunday nights, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're going to delve into this disclosure topic in further detail, get into sort of our visions of where we think it's headed, what the agenda might be, why now. So tune in for that, and do share out this video if you're interested in this. As this topic grows, there's going to be more mainstream sources covering it. So if you want to get something not mainstream, if you want to get news from or perspective not driven by the mainstream media, then do share this video out and help it get seen, because it'll start to get drowned down below all the major networks that are going to be covering this stuff. So we do certainly need help from the viewers. So thank you guys for watching this. Until next time, travel safely, my friends.